And not, I myself am a single mother, and I've been single for 5 years now. I was in a 12-year marriage, and it just didn't work out. I didn't think you should continue doing that. Good morning, American guy. And it's been rough, but I'm not going to lie, I'm much happier. So is my daughter. Um, I think the best that anybody can do when they're in a toxic relationship, when it involves children, is to separate. And unfortunately, Jade, I need you to take the dog. Please take the dog. I thought you wanted me to stay down here to talk. Oh, you don't have to talk, baby, but I need you to take the dog. No, there's no more. That's the problem. I gave him one this morning. I'm not going to keep giving them. Life of a single mom. Just trying to juggle everything at once. Unfortunately, that's just what comes with the title, especially if I'm streaming from home, working from home, doing what I have to do. It's all a crazy, amazing struggle, but we do it anyways. And I take care of my father, who's probably coming in here and he's probably going to say something to me. And that's also something that I have to factor in all the time when I'm streaming. Oh, good. He just went straight upstairs. But yeah, being a single parent for the most part it's been challenging. One thing that I mentioned earlier before the show was when you're with someone, when you're with when you're with your significant other and you guys are still together and you're raising children, one thing you can do is tag team. And unfortunately, when you're a single parent, you can't do that anymore. You got to take it on both. You got to take on both roles, especially if the other parent is not in the picture. And it's not for the faint of heart. Like, you really have to really strive to be strong and not break down and crumble. And sometimes you do, and then you have to realize that you're only human and you got to keep it pushing forward no matter what. And it's all for the love of your children. Being a single mother has put me in a position where I tested myself many times. I've been tested when it comes to working, tested when it comes to time management, trying to make sure you have enough time for your kid, priorities more than anything, making sure that your priorities are straight and that you always make time for your kids at least a little bit and show them that you care and that you're going to be there. And you don't want to be the parent that's toxic or that. Oh, here we go. My dad came. Not my dad's in the room. Hey, Mango. How are you today? That's rough because, you don't want anybody to really know, you know what I mean, how much you're suffering and what your responsibilities are so much, because you want to make things look effortless for the most part. At the end of the day, I still have to pay my bills. I still have to make sure that my daughter's fed, that my father's fed, because my mother passed away a year ago. So I got to make sure that he doesn't know how to cook. So I got to make sure that they're good. And that they understand and they appreciate you. Stop it. Jade. She doesn't want me though. I know, but she wants num-nums. Going to Discord it. What? It was really hard for me to ask for help. in the beginning, it is really hard for me to ask for help, because I'm stubborn, because I want to be the one that does it all. I always wanted to be the one that was taking care of everything, that everything was handled. I got that role regardless, but yeah, I didn't want to be the one that looked like everything was falling apart, which for the most part it looked that way because I'm only one person and I'm trying, you know. And I had to learn how to accept help from people. It took me a long time, but I still struggle with it sometimes, to accept help. And it's something that, especially if you're proud, you know, especially if you're a very proud person. My mother always taught me, um, if people are willing to help, just accept it, just as long as you know it's coming from a good place. But you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. Yeah, that's true. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. That's my daughter Jade, by the way. Poppy, hi. Hey, Sarah, how are you? Welcome to my show. It's called The World's Opinion. We're talking about being a single parent and the effects that it has on children. My daughter, she's 13, and me and my ex-husband, we got separated 5 years ago. And unfortunately, her father, he's around, but he's not in the picture so much. Um, he doesn't really help as much as he should. But you know what sucks is that I know that he knows better, but he's just selfish. And I have to make up for that for my daughter anyway. You know, I have to make sure that she's doing good, and that she knows that she's loved, and that she's cared for, and that no matter what, that I'll be there for her. You know what I mean? Um, I'm trying. You know, I really am. I'm trying to do right by her and to make sure that she knows that. Hold on one second. Let me just make sure this goes up. Okay. That she knows that she's going to be good no matter what. I'm never going to let anything have a bad happen to her. All the decisions I make is for her best interest. And sometimes they don't see it that way because they're kids. They think that you're trying to ruin their lives, especially if they're teenagers. You know, everything you do is you're a villain because you're trying to, do the right thing. I took away skateboarding. That's definitely took away skateboarding because she broke her arm and then she cracked her head open, and that was just a scary experience. And I don't think I ever want to deal with that ever again in my life. You know, um, yeah, she had a seizure. When I got to the emergency room, she was covered in blood. It was just hot mess, and I was by myself. And her father did not show up for 2 days. I couldn't get in contact with him, and even then, he didn't show up for like 3 days. And all he said was, "You're stupid." Yeah. So I have to make sure that she knows that I'm going to be there, and that no matter what, everything's going to be okay. And, you know, it sucks because going through all of that, um, especially like when she tried to commit suicide, her reason for that was because she didn't feel loved, you know, because I was always busy and her father wasn't in the picture. And I just didn't have that much time to I didn't make the time to really focus on her and make sure that she's okay, and that I didn't see the signs. I didn't see it. I was just too busy with what I was doing. And unfortunately, that happens when you're a single parent. You know, I was also mourning my mother. So, you put all those factors together and I wasn't being myself, and I didn't have anybody to lean on when that happened. And I had no one taking care of me. You know what I mean? I had to try to take care of me. And kids don't know that. Kids don't factor in that you could be emotionally struggling as well. And I had to try to make her realize that after she attempted to commit suicide. Um, I'm not superwoman. I'm not someone that's that knows it all. I'm still trying to figure things out, and it's hard to make a child understand that. The only thing you can try to do is just make them understand that you love them and that you'll try your hardest and you'll be there, um, and you apologize, and hopefully they understand that everything's going to be okay. You're going to try to make it okay, and crazy thing is, like, I make sure that I know she's fed, that she has food, that she has roof over her head, that she has clothes. I pay for all those things, I make sure she's good no matter what. Her father has been avoiding paying child support for years, and he owes me like some crazy amount number, and he wants me to, like, you know try to help him out so he doesn't owe that. And I just want to do right by my daughter. Hey, what up, Iowa man? And looking for ways to save money, looking for ways to save some time, for her. I got not one dog, but two dogs, just to keep my daughter company. And we got her a fish.
He's the best fish ever.
We got her a fish, trying to make sure that she has company. and and it's just, it can be rough. I as a single mom, I try to cut corners and try to find ways to, like, make sure that I have food, in the house, and I'm feeding three people. It's my father and my daughter and myself, and make sure that I have enough, dog food and fish food, and
Fish food isn't hard though.
yeah, but I still gotta make sure that we don't run out. That fish needs to eat.
He's a fat.
Yeah, he's a fat fish. Um, try to break from regular routine to have some fun with her. Hey, Char, what's going on? Thank you so much for coming in today.
I don't think I can clean my room in time.
All right, well, how about you go do that right now? Try to get your clothes together.
No, but I want to talk and support you on your show.
Oh, okay.
So
Hey, love.
Um,
you know,
my teachers gave me the day off because I got a good score on my test.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
They were like, because you've been online like for continuous hours.
Oh, that's great, love.
Online at night too.
Okay. Well, listen, as long as you're trying your hardest, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you. My friend came up to me with this theme today, and he's a grown-ass man. Hey, Silent Bomber. He's a grown man, and he's a child of a single mother. And he was telling me how he grew up, and he told me how it was to be raised, and how he thought, and how his father was abusive, and how he grew up, also thinking, like, why wasn't I good enough? Why weren't they treated better than what he is, and what he was treated, and how his mother was treated? And he never understood that, but he's happy, at least, that he had a great mother, that he had a great, you know, person in his life that was there for him. Like, he had his stepfather, and He had good role model figures in his life, even though his life was rough growing up. And he didn't realize that until years later. And unfortunately, it's like, when your kids are dealing with, the fact that one parent is absent, they can't help to think, like, why weren't they loved? And I don't want my daughter to think that. I want her to know that she's loved by me, by the people that are here. I know if my grandparents weren't my next door neighbor, I'm sure there was a couple of times we wouldn't have ate. Yeah, being a single parent can be hard. Yeah, your mom and dad's here, girl, right? And my mother, before she passed, she made sure that we didn't go without food no matter what. Um, she always would go to the food pantries for me because I'd be working. Now I don't have time to go to the food pantries. You got to wait online all day, and I just don't have the time for that. But my mother loved it. My mother loved it because she would, go gossip with the ladies on the line. And believe it or not, there's food pantries everywhere, all over the country. And if you really, you know, worst comes to worst, I know where to get food. Free food. And I know for a fact that I won't go hungry. I won't. I won't allow it to happen. I'll always have food on the table no matter what. My mother taught me the ins and outs of, cutting corners and making sure that, I get bread. If I wanted to get bread, I know that on Wednesdays I can go to the food pantry 2 blocks down and wait early in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, get a ticket, come back at 12, go get my food. If I really wanted to do that, I can go do it. But I can afford some food now, and I've done it before, you know, I've done it before. And so she worked it and she loved it to talk to people, give back, and yeah, and get some food back, make connections with people. Yeah, I mean, my mother, God bless her soul, she, ever since my daughter was born, I was married, but my ex-husband didn't really, you know, try his hardest to make sure that she had everything. So my mother was the one that bought her crib. I was 20. I was 20 years old when I had her. I had no idea what I was getting into. My mother made sure that we always had food and my daughter had toys and things, and the Christmases were always filled with toys, presents. And I have to try to figure out creative ways for my daughter to be okay. My grand is my hero, always makes me work. Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is that people nowadays, they don't take into consideration that having a kid, you don't think about the consequences of what might happen in a relationship or what might happen in your future. If there's something I would probably do, if I could change anything, is not, you know, not having my daughter. I want to have my daughter no matter what. But if I can turn back time, I would go back to the point where I was pregnant but not get married. And that way it would have been easier for me being a single parent from the beginning. Um, things work out eventually. If there's anybody that would like to request the box and talk about their story and how they went and what they went through, you're more than welcome to request the box. I volunteered at my mother's church food pantry for years. And what's funny is, like, I wanted to instill in my daughter how to be empathetic and how to be generous towards others. So I took a job as a home health aide and a home health professional where I worked with mentally disabled adults and helped them to become independent. And my daughter got to see my job firsthand and got to meet a bunch of people, and learned how to speak and have respect for the mentally disabled, and I wanted her to see how blessed she is. How blessed she is to have her health, to have everything intact. God made her perfect, and she should be grateful. And to know not to make fun of people like that, and to be empathetic and really be kind, really be kind to others and give, because there's nothing else greater than just being genuinely kind to people. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And I want to make sure that she has good morals when she grows older, you know? And that's one thing I can say, is that she's really kind. And it sucks because you got to deal with bullying, making sure that when they get bullied, because it's going to happen. It happens now as adults, and to teach her to be stronger than that, not let that affect her in any way. Um, Kill him with kindness, and at the same time, be amazing, because there's nothing else that haters hate more than when you're just shining, regardless of what they say or what they do. They get upset, you know. Just shine and do your best. And I think morals come from within. You have to instill them. It comes from the parents. Make sure that your kids, grow up with good morals, because that's the foundation of what they're going to bring to the world. Yeah. You never know what someone's going through, right? You never know what someone's going through, ever. You know, even if someone's rude, horrible, nasty, you don't know why. They could have lost someone, they could have gotten hurt. Um, my daughter would like to say a few things. Jade, what would you like to say?
Being being a child, having to grow up with a single mother and a father who wasn't really there, was kind of hard because I would see people talk about how bad their life is with their parents. Oh, they never listened. And I'm like, well, at least you have both of your parents. There's kids that don't even have their parents with them and they're stuck in a foster care system or an orphanage. I'm at least grateful that I have my mother to take care of me. And sometimes you feel alone because on top of that, I have a single mother, but on top of that, I don't have any siblings. So I'm really alone. And my cousins don't eat my favorite cousins that would always spend time with me moved away, and my cousins here they barely care, and I'm basically alone. And all I have is my friends and online friends. And I'm very stuck alone. I feel alone all the time, and I don't know what to do. It's very sad.
Mommy's here, right?
Yeah, but thing is, it's sad growing up with people you love and thinking that they're always going to be there for you, but then they just turn away. They just turn away and they don't care anymore. Like my dad, he says he loves me and that stuff, but he doesn't show it. He still didn't even get me my Christmas present. And my dad works two jobs, so I know he's getting money. He's just not spending it on me and important stuff. My dad wants to freaking be with his girlfriend, his 22-year-old girlfriend, and not spend time with his own daughter. It hurts. I admit it must hurt. But now I realize that I don't need him. It's always going to be me and my mom forever with the dogs.
With the dogs.
And no matter what, my mom's going to be there for me. Like, if I get with a guy and he breaks my heart, she's going to be there. If I get hurt, she's going to be there. If I get an achievement, she's going to be there. If I get married, she's going to be
Poppy says she'll murder the guy.
honestly, if my dad's gonna walk me down the aisle.
Well, you got your uncle. You know that.
So, if anything, I know that a lot of people care about me. A lot of my mom's friends on meet me, like Poppy, and Miles, and Jason, and all her friends, like Valerie, and
Mr. Miami.
Gigi, and all those other people. I know you guys are there. I know you guys love me. Especially Miles and Poppy. They would and Jason, they would kill people. They
Yeah.
would kill people.
My daughter's 13.
And how hard it is from maturing from such a young age. People tell me that I'm super mature for my age. I guess it's because I realize that having a single mom as a mom is hard and you have to help her. I always had to help my grandma and my grandpa and my mom. I always had to comfort my mom when she was sad because she didn't have anybody to do it. I'm my mom's therapist, her personal therapist. I always had to calm my mom down in situations, even when I was a baby. When my dad would leave because he got mad, I always comforted my mom. I was always there for her. It's very hard because I don't have any siblings at all, so I don't have people to talk to. My therapist gave up on me, so I'm basically alone.
Yeah.
And I don't
Hey,
want to
Mr.
put
Bold.
I don't want to put pressure on my mom. I want my mom to be proud of me. That's why I study and I get good grades and I'm trying my hardest.
Well, that's good, sweetie. But, also, now that she's getting older, now that she's getting older, it's, especially at her age, getting her to help out around the house, getting her to do certain things. She's still a teenager. It's still going to be hard for me to get her to do things, even though I try. She doesn't want to.
But what's also hard is people online. People
Hmm.
online, especially because I
Hi,
play
baby.
video games and I get bullied all the time. And there's so many racist and sexist people on the internet and saying
Well,
that I'm
that's
not
why,
cool.
especially with my friends and I, like, we learned, especially I learned because I didn't know what it was to stream and deal with trolls and deal with people that are going to hate on you and talk, crap. And, I had to learn to not let it affect me, and I'm trying to teach that to her because people are going to talk. Hey, what's up, Jesse? People are going to talk. People are going to hate on you. Hi. Um, and you got to make sure that, when you're raising your kids, especially as a single parent, that, or just a parent in general, que lo que. We're talking today's my show. My show is called The World's Opinion, and we're talking about being a single parent and the effects that it has on the children. And so I'm talking to my daughter right now, letting her know that you know cyber, being on the internet in general, you're gonna get attention. You're gonna get unwanted attention, and it's something that she really does need to learn how to deal with that. She has to learn how to deal with the trolls, deal with the haters, because people are gonna hate no matter what. People are gonna talk shit. People are going to find ways to try to get a rise out of you, um, go out of their way to make you look bad, and you have to really overcome that, and just be like, just give them big, in the face, just basically like, and just live your life happy, not literally punch him in the face or anything. No, I'm just saying, like, flip them off, by just being amazing, you know, being amazing, being yourself, living amazingly, um, doing extraordinary things, just living life, living your best life and achieving your goals, because that's the biggest way that you could possibly get back, at those haters. They hate seeing you succeed. So you have to really reach for the stars and shine and be the best version of yourself that you could possibly be and give to the world. Poppy likes to play with trolls. She does. It's really fun to watch sometimes. Um,
But as I said, it's hard, especially me. Like
no, I know.
it's hard.
Listen,
It's hard to
eventually,
even see your mother cry, and you can't do anything about it.
but
Like
you,
you see your mom cry, and you're like, I can't do anything about that. I can't help with the bills. I'm not. I'm not. I'm young. I can't have a job. I can't do anything about that. It's hard seeing your parent cry, especially over something you can't help. It's hard.
well, imagine how it is to be the adult trying to figure it all out. Sometimes we don't have all the answers, and it's crazy because we try to have all the answers for them, but it's hard to give them all the answers. Oh, Jason's gonna get on. He's gonna speak.
Words. Can you hear me?
Hi, we can hear you.
Single parents. Okay. Um, just touching off of what Jade just said, even just what she said just there. Um, I remember my youngest daughter Layla. After my split with their mother, the divorce and everything. Um, I remember
Yeah.
I couldn't get my bearings on things, and I was a little stressed about money. She didn't grasp, you know, she doesn't grasp what money is, and she seen me upset, because I didn't really hide everything as from them the best I should have. Some of my emotions after the breakup and everything. She came
Oh.
into my room one day and she handed me the $3 she had from her allowance, asking me if this was enough money to help.
Aw.
Kind of realized after that point I need to kind of, you know, get my emotions in check and kind of shelter them and realize that I needed to be there stronger for them.
Mhm.
Um, Effects of, you know, a divorce can be big on kids and we don't even realize it. Just in the way we act and how, how our emotions can get the best of us sometimes. Um, and then it'll pass down to them, which is the worst thing about it is, um, as adults, we don't realize how the little things we do uh, affect them so greatly. Um, I was raised by a single mother too, um, and I know I watched my father raise two other kids, and I wondered why I wasn't worth raising. Um, and that made me want to be the best father I could be. And made that a goal to be the best father I could be because I was going to be nothing like him. Um, so I can thank him for ignoring me my whole life because he served me no purpose. He still serves me no purpose to this day, um, except as an example of what not to be as a person, as a father, as just a general human being. Um, and I care about people. I care about my kids greatly, and it's because I never wanted my kids to grow up without a father, without, um, you know, somebody caring about them on both sides. Even though me and their mother we didn't work out, their mother still cares about them, and they just need to know that I care about them too, which is why they live with me.
Mhm.
Um, but in the same turn, when we split, I watched my kids get ignored by their mother for a bit, which really sucked. Um, she was out finding herself. Uh, After our divorce, she was, went on her journey. And it was me and my kids for 2 years, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. They, realized that no matter what, I'd be there for them, and it's just one of the things you need to like kind of burn into your kids is biggest thing you need to burn into your kids is even though someone else isn't there, you're still there. You still love them, and it's hardest part about divorce and parents breaking up is the effects that it has on the kids. So I got it from both sides. I mean, I grew up with a single parent, being raised by a single parent. Um, Same thing, just wondering why my father didn't want to raise me, why he can raise two other kids, but he couldn't raise me. Um, I remember him yelling at me when I was 5 years old. I remember him yelling at me because I broke my arm and he had to pay for a cast. He never wanted to pay child support, never wanted to pay anything, but the court ordered him to pay for a cast. And I remember him sitting there with I had a broken arm and he was upset because he had to pay for it. Um, Never got a bike, never got nothing from him. My mother provided everything, and I watched her struggle. I watched everything she did for me all growing up. So, I can see it, and I made it that I couldn't let that happen, and I could not let that happen. Um, I would do anything for my kids, anything. I mean, I have my nieces and my nephews, and my niece, she doesn't. Neither one of none of my nieces and nephews have fathers. They're all single parents. And my niece has already decided that I'm the one walking her down the aisle when she gets older. Um, Aaliyah. um, Whenever she has problems and she needs a father figure, she calls me. So Kevin wouldn't call me, but Kevin's a little emotional. So, but yeah, being there for the kids is the most important thing, and that's as parents. Once we get past everything that happened to us personally, we need to kind of just
Thank you, Jay.
wake up and realize that it ain't about us anymore. And that was the realization that I had, when Layla came in and offered me the money. It was just a few months after my divorce. I was just not in my head right. And, uh, I was always a little emotional in front of them. They could tell I was very sad by everything. Um, and yeah, when she came in and she offered me the money, I had realized that I'm letting my emotions too much in front of them, and it's adult emotions that they shouldn't have to deal with. Breakup emotions, stress about those things. I mean, she was 8 years old. She shouldn't have to worry about money. So, and yeah, it kind of put a grip on everything, locked everything down, and then they're all better and they're
You
all
know what's
happy now.
crazy is like, we never want our kids to see us upset.
Yeah.
I know that I've like many times when I've had to hide my emotions. Hey, D'Amico. Yeah, we do. But then again, there's also mothers that aren't that great either. And I always had to hide my emotions a lot from her because every time, she's seen me suffer so much, and since she was little, and I really had to like go. Oh, it's horrible. I really have to try my hardest because I suffer from anxiety. So many times that means me, hey, Queen Victoria, what's going on? That means me bottling up my emotions. And because I bottle up my emotions, they manifest into anxiety and panic attacks. So I've learned now to try to subdue that, to talk things out with my friends, with family. Um, and that's really an important thing as a single parent, especially if you're struggling and you're trying, right? Yeah, especially if you're trying your hardest to do what you got to do, and you yourself are in turmoil inside. A good way is to just talk things out. Hi, Janine. Try to talk things out, get your emotions out somehow, because if not, they manifest some in a different way. You don't know how they might manifest, but they manifest horribly. And one thing is, like, I don't like having my panic attacks in front of my family, especially in front of my father, in front of my daughter. um i I don't want to freak them out, me being the rock, me being the one that holds it all together, you know be the one that's falling apart. I can't be the one that falls apart. My mother, when she passed away last year, Yeah. When my mother, when she passed away last year, um, I was the the head of the family. You know, I had to be the one to take all the phone calls of people saying I'm sorry. I had to be the one to receive all the presents and the cards. I had to be the one, hey Miami, I had to be the one that did all the transactions for the funeral, for the cemetery, social security, health insurance. I had to do all those things and keep my composure and not break down. And I had to go on into autopilot, you know, if you know what I mean by that. Like I had to literally take all my emotions and bury them to be able to do these things for everyone because they couldn't handle it. They couldn't be the ones to do that stuff. I had to do it. I couldn't break down in front of my daughter. My daughter was like, "Why haven't I seen you cry over Beka?" That's my mother. And it's because I do it alone by myself. I called family. You know, I had like at least two or three meltdowns by myself because I didn't want anybody to see. Um, and my daughter didn't understand afterwards, after all that happened, after everything that I went through emotionally, I was still going through it months later. I started mourning my mother in different ways. It manifested into me drinking, you know, it manifested into me not being there for anyone. And that's what also influenced my daughter into her depression because I wasn't paying her attention. Um, you know, all these things that we go through in life, we really sometimes have to sit back and realize like who else can be affected by the way you're acting. Um, I didn't realize that, you know, my daughter had everything she needed. I didn't realize that she needed me there emotionally as well because I just lost my mother. And yeah, we all need therapy. We do. We all need therapy. And my daughter was going through the motions and started leaning on my friends, and those people didn't tell me how she was feeling, and they didn't tell me, you know, what was going on because they saw me suffering, so, and they didn't think I could handle it. But if I would have known from the beginning that my daughter is suffering and is in depression and she's thinking thoughts of committing suicide, if I would have known these things, I would have automatically snapped the fuck out of it, and you know what I mean, and jumped on my feet to help her, you know. um Listen, it's sometimes it takes serious things to happen for you to realize who your friends are, you know, what you really need to do in life. um I love my daughter more than anything, you know. What do you want?
Extra fun.
It's on the bed somewhere.
What's the password?
4778. And yeah, it can be overwhelming, and as much as you can try, and as much as you can try and your best, you know, thank you so much. um you got to remember that you're only human. You know, you're only human. You can only do so much. It's okay to ask for help when it comes to your kids. Just make sure you're asking the right people. She's 13, and this all happened last year. You know, you never know what's going to happen. You never know, you know, who you might lose. The decisions that you'll be making within the next year that could be very impactful in your life and their lives. As a single parent, you got to make sure that no matter what, that your mind and their mind is going to be okay emotionally, that you're both going to be okay. And we're still trying to find a good therapist for my daughter. My son turned 9. I'm dealing with him having questions on why I'm single and why isn't dad around. Yeah. And listen, all like my daughter and I, have like my daughter and I have had a good relationship when it comes to being like trying to communicate, and she's always known that her father. Give me 1 second. That her father has never really been the best and been around. Um, and now, and now I am trying to make sure that she understands that I'm only human. And I'm trying my best. You know.
Yeah, and that's all we can do. Yeah, you saw
Yeah.
me chuckle. I saw what you wrote. No, but that's the one thing. It sucks having to bottle it up,
Yeah.
and that's what we got to do.
Right.
And um,
You still
just the
have to
best.
be strong and overcome all the challenges. I was scared. I the one reason I didn't leave my husband earlier was because I was scared to be a single mom. I didn't know if I could do it. I was dependent on him. Yes, yeah. And talking it out is the best way. And for years, I wanted
Yes.
to leave.
Yeah.
I wanted to leave and
You're
leave
about to have a
him,
baby.
and I couldn't. I couldn't because I was too scared of being alone, not finding the person I'm supposed to be with. Um, Me raising her on my own, struggling. Like I was scared. I was really scared to deal with that. Like I couldn't picture myself being alone, because I'm a person that likes attention and affection, and so I always needed someone there. And then it took me a while, but then I realized I didn't need him. I'd be better on my own. That's I don't need someone with me. It took me a long time to realize that I don't need anyone. I could be okay on my own. Robin, hi.
Took me 2 years before
Yeah.
I realized I had to
And
be
you want to
okay
know
with myself.
something? Like I was always, good morning, sweetie. I was always the type of person to believe in like, oh, I can't wait to meet the love of my life. I can't live my life being alone. If I die alone, it'd just be like it would be the end all be all. You know what I mean? And I finally came to the realization that I love myself so much that I'll be okay if I don't marry again. You know, if
Same.
like I'm my own best company. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind being alone anymore.
What we need to be.
And I'm okay. I'm okay with me being alone and me being a single mom, and with me being able to provide for my daughter on my own. I'm okay with that. I don't need to be married. I don't need to find the love of my life because I have myself. At the end of the day, I was born alone. I'm going to die alone, and I'm going to be okay, you know? And my daughter needs to know that she's going to be okay no matter what, too. She doesn't need someone to protect her. I want her to be able to protect herself. I want her to be able to know that she can fight.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm trying to instill in my
You
kids.
are the love of your life. I really enjoy my own company. I learned being alone isn't a bad thing. It's not, you know? Like I love who I am. I I love the fact that I'm dorky and I don't get jokes. I don't. It's the worst, but at the same time I'm okay with myself. I love myself, you
Yeah.
know? I learned to love myself, and I want my daughter to know that too. I will teach you jokes. Thanks.
I got
Um,
caught
So as parents, as single parents, we really that's fine.
I have customers.
Okay. Being single parents, we really have to try our hardest to be role models for our children, to really help them stand up for themselves. And it starts with you. It really does. It starts with you as the parent, as the role model. And they see you, if they see you depressed, and what sucks is that for years she saw me depressed, and it takes a toll. It takes a toll. It takes a toll on them. You don't see it, but they end up absorbing that. um for years she saw me so upset, so depressed, so self-conscious, so not unhappy with my image, that she's that way now. And now I'm fighting to help her get out of that. Like, I don't want my daughter to hate herself. you know I didn't want my daughter to feel self-conscious about herself and who she is. And as much as I can tell her, if I'm not acting that way or being that way, she's not going to get it. She's like, well, why do I have to be that way? If you're not that way. I want her to be strong, and I have to be an example. A lot of parents don't get that. They think that their kids are just going to automatically be right somehow. Like, they're going to end up just being right. Just because you gave them everything doesn't mean that they're, in there is not okay. You got to make sure they have the right mindset, that they think right, that they have good morals instilled into them, and you have to teach them these things. My daughter struggles with her body. Um, she grew too fast. She got her period at 9 and started developing, and you know, I think she might have polycystic ovarian syndrome like I do, and I think it's gonna be a struggle for her. But I want her to get a handle on it before she grows up, before she really, really grows up. But you know what? You have to be comfortable in your body, regardless. And I want her to one day be comfortable with herself, regardless, because she might have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it's going to be hard for her to lose the weight. And regardless, I want her to like try to be healthy and try to, um, really combat that. Hi, poet. Really combat that and try to be the best version of herself. Really love herself regardless of what she looks like. I don't want her to be shallow either. Yeah, she'll always be curvy. She has my body shape, which is like, it's mind blowing to me because I see it and I'm just like, oh my god. I cringe because I know, and she's only 13. You know, and she has boobs and she has a butt. And I'm just like, oh, as a mother, you just fear the worst, that someone's going to take advantage of your little girl. Thank you, perplexing poet. Slim Dick. So I can only hope that um that me being the only parent in her life, that she finds comfort in that, and that I'm still going to be there. And I try to find ways for me not to go nuts, and for me not to bottle things up. And this app has definitely helped me find friends, that are willing to listen and willing to talk things with me and help me be a better person for me, for my daughter. Um, I truly appreciate all my friends on here. I don't think I'd be as great without you guys. Um, You guys make me want to be better because my daughter deserves the best, and I want to be the best for her. Um, with or without her father in her life. I mean, all I can do is just hope that one day he'll be there, but the truth is I don't think he will be. And if he does, that's great. I'm not one to keep her away from him unless he was dangerous to her or himself. Um, thank you. And hey, Jigga, and I can only hope that one day, he snaps out of it and he'll be the best father for her. But I got to be there for her no matter what. Howdy. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for coming to my show and talking about being a single parent and how it is and the effects that it's going to have on the kids. And hopefully one day um, we'll be able to figure it out easier. There's no manual on how to be a single parent. There isn't. There just isn't. Um, it's like you're forced to be in this role somehow. Sometimes you just don't, you don't have a choice. Yeah. Maybe we should have more babies. Well, I don't know about that. Maybe when I meet the love of my life, I'll have one more. But if not, I'll be okay. And as my daughter is okay. I don't think I want to make any more children without being sure that they're going to be cared for. And that's it. So listen, thank you guys, everyone. Everyone, thank you so much for coming to my show. We'll see what the next topic is going to be about. I'm pretty sure that every single topic that I'm going to be touching on is going to be a serious topic. And it's good to talk things out. It really is. And regardless of what the topic is, I think it's important for me to have a voice and give people who don't speak to have a voice. It's the only thing I can do. I don't have power. I'm not a huge influential person in society, but every little bit helps. And just show a little kindness, just a little bit of kindness takes you a long way. So thank you so much. I hope to see you guys next week on The World's Opinion. You're good, Moji J. Thank you so much. You did an hour. No, thank you guys. I will sex work. Poppy. It would be interesting. What's funny is I was talking to Jason. Was it Jason? Yeah, my dad and Jason were talking about Hunts Point in the Bronx and how they had come out with a show years ago, which I remember that show. And how he wouldn't go near that street as a tow truck driver. Yeah, he did, but you are. You are though. Yes? What happened? What? You're hungry. All right. What are you in the mood for? Huh? Why always Taco Bell? God damn it. You want sushi? Yes, we're done. I put thumbs up for you, Moji J. Thank you so much. Xavier, thank you. Am I? Yeah, you're super white, woman.